Good morning, one and all. Some reflections on today's readings. The think thoughts of today, and they're just beautiful readings, especially for the times that we are living in right now. Elijah is up in this cave, and for the first reading, and there's this huge wind, and it says God wasn't in the wind, and there was this earthquake, and God wasn't in the earthquake, and then at the end he says there was a sheer silence. And when Elijah was able, when he heard the silence, I don't think that we often think about or talk about listening to the silence. It was when Elijah was able to hear the silence that Elijah was able to hear God, love, see ultimate reality. Insert your comfort zone there. And isn't that so true? And it goes perfectly with the gospel where Jesus goes to a mountain to pray and sit into that sheer silence, I'm sure. And then there's this huge, all of these winds, and the disciples are trapped on this boat, and all of a sudden they see Jesus walking on the water, and they start freaking out. And they say, which would be kind of like, what? Kind of weird to see. Anyway, so they realize that it's Jesus, and Jesus says, do not be afraid. Important to note that, do not be afraid doesn't make all of the winds stop. It doesn't make, sometimes you hear, do not be afraid, and you're like, thanks a lot. That helps. But I think we see Jesus kind of gives us an idea of, well, what is something that we can practice doing to be able to kind of release our grasp on fear. And he says to Peter says, Peter wants to walk out towards Jesus, and Jesus says, well, come. And Peter has his eyes on Jesus the whole time and steps out of the boat onto the waves, and he's standing on water, and until Peter's focus goes completely on the waves and he starts to sink. And then it says immediately Jesus reaches down and grabs him. Now, I think the key in that is that when Peter was focused on Jesus, when Peter was focused on love, when Peter was focused on what was in front of him, just this and not on that, all of the things going on around, Peter was able to walk on the water, if you will. And I think that has so much to learn from. So if we focus only on the waves, it doesn't mean denying the waves. It doesn't mean saying everything is perfectly fine and let's go hold hands and skip in the sun because nothing is bad. Oh, everything is good. Don't worry. But I love how Richard Rohr puts it is taking a long, loving look at what is. Being able to pause long enough to actually notice what is. What is in your life, and what are the stories that are the waves that are going on within, the what ifs and the looking aheads and all of these things that keep us trapped in those thunders and those waves. But right now in this moment for me, when I can take a long loving look at what is, I can pause. I can see there's the river. I can see there's my dog. I don't know if you can see her. There she is. I'm breathing. In this moment, I'm okay. And the thing is all that is this moment. So if I can practice sitting in that and allowing love to hold me as love is always there to do, well, then I can slowly start stepping forward into the water, onto the water. And if I can have that trust, knowing that love holds me through all things, well, that can allow me to start to ever so slowly live my life in faith. And it doesn't mean that so-called bad things won't happen, but it does mean that you can walk forward and you are able to allow yourself to see the goodness and the beauty that holds you through it all. And to be able to see how God is that light that can lead you forward within it. So may you open your hearts. May you spend time to hear and listen to the silence. and to allow those stories in our heads, the what ifs and these, to calm down, and to simply breathe, and to know that you are being held by love and that you are love. Grace and peace, friends.